The Christian devils have really made a pact with Lord Satan himself. And Lord Satan's chief emissary here on earth for the time being is the Antichrist known as Donald Trump. Now, there have been many Antichrists in the past, each one of them with the objective of destroying everything that is decent and good and honorable about human beings. In other words, to eliminate millions of years of evolution that it took for us to rise from the slime, learn to walk upright, develop a prominent brain, and then come up with ideas about ethics and right behavior. That Antichrist is Donald Trump, as we know. So Trump is spouting his filth and his Satan vomit over the weekend. He said on Sunday that he intends to, his words, thoroughly scrutinize and limit NBC News and other news agencies when he's elected president in 2024. Yeah, now remember, this is a promise that he's making to the Christian demons who support him. Any person who understands democracy understands that there are two things absolutely necessary to make democracy work: an independent judiciary and an independent press. Without those two, and it takes both of them, there's no chance for democracy to succeed. And Trump knows this. Being the Antichrist, he read the handbook on how to be a good Antichrist. It's taken many forms over the years, and he has got it into his twisted, psychotic brain that destroying the news media is the first thing he has to do. Now, he was recently interviewed on NBC by Kristen Welker, which really, you can make two arguments. It freaked me out. You can make two arguments. So one is that the publicity is necessary to expose how sick this fucker really is. And okay, that's fine. On the other hand, giving him all this free press, all this attention, normalizes this son of a bitch. Why isn't NBC, I keep wanting to say MSNBC, why isn't NBC and all the television networks forming a consortium to put together an explosive expose about what this criminal son of a bitch is all about? Why isn't that happening? I mean, seriously, why isn't that happening? Surely corporate media in this country understand, maybe they don't give a fuck, but surely they understand that another Trump presidency means an end to anything even remotely resembling an independent media. Not that we completely have that now. I mean, come on, Mike, let's be real. Okay. But I think you understand what I'm saying. This is what the Orange Vomit wrote on his little toy social media site on Sunday. He wrote, quote, he's referring to NBC, they are almost all dishonest and corrupt. But Comcast, with its one-side and vicious coverage by NBC News, and in particular MSNBC, often and correctly referred to as MSDNC, should be investigated for its country threatening treason. End quote. This is what this sick son of a bitch wrote. Now, he writes stuff like that. He does the things that he does. He is indicted on 91 different felonies. And yet, depending on what poll you want to look at, a slight majority of Americans polled want him to be president again? I mean, do you ever feel this way? That you are trapped inside of a fucking asylum for the criminally insane? I feel that way. No, I know. I can leave my home anytime I want to. I can walk out of the Daniel Scapin studio anytime I want to. I can go hither and yon. But where it concerns living in a just balanced, honorable society, we have drifted away from that and drifted away. Not that we were that to begin with, but we were moving towards that, and we're moving away from it into this toilet of religious fascism. The Orange Bastard added that, quote, their endless coverage of now fully debunked scam known as Russia, 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 and much else is one big campaign contribution to the radical left Democratic Party, end quote. Russia, Russia, Russia. He talks like a 5-year-old who has grenades strapped to his play school, has an AR-15 in his pudgy little hands. I mean, this is one sick little juvenile monster. But once again, he promised he's going to get retribution when he's president again, because he knows he's going to be president again. This is what he said. Let me give you the full quote. I say up front, openly and proudly, that when I win the presidency of the United States, they and others of the lamestream media will be thoroughly scrutinized for their knowingly dishonest and corrupt coverage of people, things, and events. Why should NBC or any other of the corrupt and dishonest media companies be entitled to use the very valuable airwaves of the USA free? They are a true threat to democracy and are, in fact, the enemy of the people. The fake news media should pay a big price for what they have done to our once great country. End quote. Jesus, bleeding Messiah. I mean, listening to that kind of bullshit coming out of the Orange Bastard's mouth is really frightening to me. Not frightening in the sense I want to go hide in the woods. Frightening in the sense I want to arm up and be ready. You know what I'm saying? Now, over the years, but yes, of course, I have screamed and pounded the desk and yelled and wheezed and farted and made this point and that point about what I consider to be dishonest news coverage of a certain event, or most often the lack of news coverage of a certain event. The event being one that was actually designed to educate us into those areas that we need to be educated, whether it's global warming or the horror of racism or the violence of anti-Semitism or the disgust of homophobia. Yeah, when I don't think there has been proper coverage, enough coverage of those issues and how they are cooperating to destroy this country, cooperating with the Christian devils. Yeah, I'll scream about the media, but that's not what Trump is talking about. To Trump, any media is corrupt that does not worship at his filthy feet. That's what corrupt means to Trump. You can't remain neutral, and you can't tell the truth about him. You have to be an adoring, stroking, I don't know. I can't think of the words. That's what he needs. He wants. Love me, kiss me, stroke me, pet me, tell me how wonderful I am. If you don't, you are a threat to democracy and Jesus. You are a threat to everything that is good and pure and noble. By that I mean you're a threat to me. That's what he's saying. Jesus. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.